He was in a lot of those tag matches, right? Early on in the early 2000s. He was in some ladder matches, table matches, TLC matches during that period of time. And then I think when you look at matches later on when he became a singles competitor and more of a main event level guy, when you look at, if you think about TLC matches, the non-tag team ones, the first guy that I think of when you look at those matches, I think is Edge, right? He had a bunch of good ones with a lot of different guys. He participated in some other stuff like Hell in a Cell with Undertaker. I think Edge is just a guy, no matter what match you put him in against whoever it was, whether it was Undertaker, John Cena, Batista, whoever it was when he was the champion, it was always pretty good and entertaining. He was a pretty creative guy, I think, from an in-ring perspective, to come up with a lot of different spots and different things in those types of gimmick matches. So I had him at number 3. And number 2, for me, I had Mick Foley in various incarnations, obviously. It was Cactus Jack and Mankind, and I guess a little bit with Dude Love. But obviously a guy who's known for taking a lot of crazy bumps in his career, specifically the second ever Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker, which obviously everybody, I think, has seen all those things that he did, diving off the cage and through the cage unintentionally. And again, a lot of hardcore matches. He did some King of the Deathmatch stuff as well in Japan. He wrestled in ECW. He had that I Quit match with The Rock. So I think he's a guy, I think when you think about gimmick matches or hardcore stuff, that he's a guy that really sticks out to me as kind of being a specialty for him.
Well, it's obviously when I accused you before of looking at my list, you did. I also had Mick Foley, more so over Cactus Jack at number 2. And for everything you mentioned, taking the dive off the Hell in a Cell, he was in the Boiler Room Brawl match. Mick Foley actually wrestled, I'm trying to look it up now. He wrestled Paul Orndorff at, it's going to drive me crazy. I forget.
Was it a Clash of the Champions or something?
I believe it might have been a Clash of the Champions. It was a street fight from 110.93, and Mick Foley took a shovel to the head. And again, I was probably 7 years old, so I thought he was dead. But Cactus Jack was such a badass character, and his matches with Terry Funk, in FMW, and then for him to kind of usher in the Attitude Era as only he could do, I think it's got to put him up there. And number 1 for me, I'm interested to see if it's the same one as you. I've got The Undertaker. The Undertaker, when you think of Hell in a Cell, you think of Inferno matches, you think of casket matches. The Undertaker is the guy at the forefront. He was a great worker. He was in a Buried Alive match. The Boiler Room Brawl match. If there's a gimmick match, The Undertaker's been in it. And he was a great worker in his own right, and he could hold his own in the ring, but for some reason he did all of these, because I guess it was character led to these matches, but he was the guy that kind of pioneered a lot of those, and I think you have to put Taker at number 1.
So at number 1, I had Shawn Michaels.
Oh, come on! What, because he was in one ladder match?
First of all, he was in several ladder matches, including the best ones that there ever were.
But not the first one.
Does that matter?
Oh yeah, he was really a pioneer like The Undertaker was.
Who was in the first ladder match?
Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect.
Was it?
At a house show, yeah.
Okay. I always thought it was Bret and Shawn at a house show, but either way, he was at the first televised one, and it was the best one ever, I think.
Oh, up for debate. Like, in your opinion, it was the best one ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
kind of how this works, right?
Okay, I just want to say, could you say it was the best one ever? I'd be like,
I mean, it's my opinion. It's the best one ever. I think it's kind of widely regarded in that way. But he had a few other ones as well. He fought the Razor Ramon twice. He fought Jericho in a ladder match, a couple other ones. So he's kind of the guy that's known for that. He was in the first Hell in a Cell match, which I think also is the best Hell in a Cell match that there ever has been. So I think he's known for that as well. He was in the Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12, which again is a very popular one. And, other things, obviously, he's done. He's been in so many matches in his career, between casket matches with Undertaker and last man standing matches with Triple H and things like that. I mean, he just, from a performer perspective of those gimmick matches that he's taken a part in, he's in the best ones of the genre, in several different ones. So that's why he's number 1. Now, I left Undertaker off the list. I'll tell you why I left him off the list. Because while he was in a lot of those different gimmick matches that you mentioned, the majority of them I felt were poor matches. So there's a few that are good, but a lot of them I think are not great matches. So that's why I kind of left him off, because there's a lot of stinkers in that list between like casket matches and Inferno matches and Buried Alive and stuff like that. And a lot of those were, in my opinion, not great matches. So that's why I left him off.
I disagree. I cannot believe you put Shawn Michaels up there. Unbelievable. That's a homer pick.
It's an accurate pick.
That's an accurate homer pick.
I mean, I think you're just upset that you left him off, and now you're just kind of trying.
No, I actually left him off. I purposely.
It's always good to leave the best wrestler of all time off your list of top 5.
I know, I did leave off Bret Hart. So, where does that leave us now?
No one agrees with you.
And, I think everybody agrees with me.
Not many do.
I think we had discussions several times. I just cannot believe you had Michaels on your list. You didn't have The Undertaker. And I'm not even an Undertaker fan. I'm really not.
Most of those matches stink, bro.
And most of Michaels' matches are overrated because of his name.
That doesn't make sense.
It did make sense.
You must be thinking of Kenny Omega. Let's move on to Extreme Rules this weekend.
That's a good point. I forgot he never got the 6-star match that Michael always tried to get.
That's right. All right.
You don't even watch Kenny Omega matches. You can't say he's overrated.
I've watched several Kenny Omega matches, including the one that was overrated with 6 stars, and we'll not get into that again because we've discussed that at length.
I want a detailed breakdown of how many Kenny Omega matches you've watched.
5.
That is not fair. How can you make an accurate judgment of 5 matches? That'd be like watching 1 week of Raw with how many matches Michael wrestled 10 years ago.
Okay, that's fine. So where do you want to start with Sunday's Extreme Rules here?
We're looking at 6 matches. There's got to be more than 6 matches, right?
6 matches are announced right now. I don't know that there's any pre-show matches that have been flagged here. So
I see 4 matches already that could be pre-show matches at this rate.
So, yeah, I mean, I'll just run down, I guess, the 6 matches that there are, and then we can start rolling through with some picks here.
How are we doing on time? We got time? What are we looking at?
Yeah, it's the world's oyster here.
Oh, there we go. We're fine. We got 23 minutes somewhere. Rich Swann and Sasha Banks versus Noam Dar and Alicia Fox.
Yeah, so that's the mixed tag match. There's a submission match for the Cruiserweight Championship, Neville versus Austin Aries. Steel cage match for the Raw Tag Team titles, the Hardys versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Kendo stick on a pole match for the Raw Women's Championship. Alexa
stick
Bliss,
on a pole.
Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. Dean Ambrose versus The Miz, where if Ambrose is disqualified, he'll lose the Intercontinental Championship. I'm not sure that's extreme, but I guess it's
extremely stupid.
Up for debate. And then the Fatal 5-Way Extreme Rules match to determine the number 1 contender for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt versus Samoa Joe. And that, my friend, is Extreme Rules. So, if you'd like to start with the mixed tag match, so Rich Swann and Sasha Banks versus Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. It's a tough...
yeah, it's a real tough one.
It's a tough build there.
Why? Why did this match happen?
I don't know. I guess because they maybe threw all their main event guys in one match, and now we're stuck with filler like this.
I appreciate your brutal honesty.
I don't know, yeah.
Speaking of filler, this is completely off topic. Where's American Alpha been?
I don't know, same place Ty Dillinger's been, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Counting to 10. I'm wondering why they're the SmackDown.
I'm going to go with Swan and Banks here. I don't see any reason why Noam Dar should be winning matches at this point on pay-per-view.
I don't see any reason why this match should be happening, but I think, if anything, if you're trying to build a new contender, you could build Alicia Fox and bring her into the women's division. So I'm going to say Noam Dar and Alicia Fox get the win.
Okay. So then, submission match for the Cruiserweight Championship. It's Neville against Austin Aries.
Tell me why this should not be great. Give me one good reason why Neville and Austin Aries should not put on a classic match.
No, I mean, they should, as long as they don't get limited on time, there's no reason why this match shouldn't be very good.
I just get so mad. God.
I'll say, I'm going to say that Neville is going to win this match and retain the championship, and I'm only really saying that because Aries tapped him out on Monday on Raw. So I don't think they're going to move it over to Aries. But, I mean, I've been thinking that they should for the last couple months, and they haven't done it. So, but I'm just going to stick with Neville here retaining.
So if Neville wins this match, there can be no rematch. Is that a fair statement? Because I've seen this match. This is now the 4th time? It's the 3rd time.
Third time on pay-per-view. Yeah.
Third time on pay-per-view, and Neville has won each time.
First one, I think, he kind of, right, he raked his eyes at WrestleMania, right, and then pinned him shortly after that. And then I think at Payback, he was DQ'd, I think, or counted out or something like that.
Okay.
I think that was how that one ended. He kind of escaped. So this is the third match, but yeah.
I think Aries has to win. I would hate to see Neville tap out to the last chancery, which I really think is not a great submission maneuver. It's easily escapable, and it doesn't look very good. Neville's Rings of Saturn is brutal. I love watching him put the thing on it. It's violent. But I think that what I would do and what I think is going to happen are two different ones. So I'm going to say they put the title on Aries and he's your new Cruiserweight champion.
Okay.
That's going to lead us to the Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro in the cage. The Hardy Boys have to lose the titles. Sheamus and Cesaro have to win them. They're too strong, and hopefully this will lead to the broken. Maybe Matt takes a bad bump. Maybe he falls off the cage, bumps his head, something along those lines. I don't know.
I don't know why you're wishing ill will on
not a
Hardy.
bad, no, not like
fall off the cage and bump his head.
A bad planned bump where everybody's nice and safe, but it jars something loose in the old brain ski of Matt, and that's where this starts. But Cesaro and Sheamus, they're too strong right now. You're going to break them up, or you're going to have them win the titles, and I don't think you're going to break them up. So I'm saying they win the titles.
Yeah, the tough thing about this one is that I don't think Cesaro and Sheamus have won anything in this whole feud the last 2 months. I think every singles match or tag match they've been in, the Hardys have always seemed to have gotten either the win or the upper hand, regardless of what's happened. So you would think that to not completely destroy Cesaro and Sheamus, that they should win the steel cage match for the tag titles. The Hardys don't even have to be pinned. I don't know if it's to escape the cage rules. They don't specify that, but if it is, then the Hardys don't even need to be pinned to lose. I'm usually for longer title reigns. I mean, I would if it was me and I was booking, I would keep the titles on the Hardys for a few months and then let the Revival beat them, maybe closer to SummerSlam. But that's not how things go, I guess, in today's world. So I'm going to say that Cesaro and Sheamus should win the tag titles here, and just because they have to. And maybe the Hardys will win it back in a month or two, but I think Cesaro and Sheamus have to win because they have not won anything in this feud so far.
Yeah. Oh, God. Which one you...
Kendo stick on a pole, man.
Go ahead.
Gotta do it.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss versus Bayley for the Raw Women's Championships. Kendo stick on a pole. So it's all based around whether Bayley is going to actually use this kendo stick if she were able to get her hands on it. Right, Bliss hit her with one kendo stick shot, and Bayley sold it like crazy, and they made it a big deal. I don't know. I think it's hard for me to... I wouldn't take the title off of Bliss right away. I mean, if they're going to put it back on Bayley, that's okay. I would not do it right away. I would let Bliss keep it for another month, and maybe let Bayley win it back a month later from now. So I'll say Alexa retains.
Now, what are the rules to this match? Is it a no DQ match going into the kendo stick?
I as far as I know, the way that these on a pole matches work is it's like, the weapon's just suspended on the pole, and the first person that climbs up and gets it is free to use it, and then once after that, it's pretty much fair game to use that. I don't know that it's if there's DQ rules on other things, like if they use chairs and stuff like that, but I'm gonna guess that probably won't come into play here.
Oh man, this is bad. Wasn't there a nightstick on a pole match between Nails and Big Boss Man?
Yeah,
that was pretty good booking. It's kind of similar.
Familiar.
I don't know. I really don't. This has no heat. Bayley. This feud is so flat. I feel like the pop for Bayley winning wouldn't even be that big. I assume what they're going to do is Alexa Bliss has brought the evil out of Bayley, and not the evil, but like the badassness, and she gets the kendo stick and she winds up beating her a couple times, and then she hits it with the Bayley to belly and gets the pin. I don't think it's the right move right now, but I think they put the title on Bayley.
Okay. So then we have Dean Ambrose versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. If Ambrose is disqualified, he loses the championship.
Did they just wrestle on SmackDown last week?
Well, they're on Raw, but
I know, but then that was a joke because as per this is a feud that